Hello students, welcome to this lecture on discrete mathematics. In the previous lectures, we have already talked about sets. We have seen in the first lecture what was the basic concepts of set, how many types of sets were there. And in the second lecture, we saw what are the various operations that can be performed on the sets. And we also saw the laws that govern those operations on the sets. One of the operations that we discussed was the Cartesian product. The Cartesian product of two sets denoted by A cross B was the set of ordered pairs such that the first element of the ordered pair always comes from the set A and the second element of the ordered pair always comes from the set B. Although the Cartesian product is a set, so therefore the ordering of the pairs by themselves does not matter, but the ordering of the elements within the pairs is an important thing. That's why it is called the set of ordered pairs. Now Cartesian products are the basis on which the relations and functions are defined. Let's see the relations first. Let's define it. Say for example, A and B are two non-empty sets. Now this is important. For defining a relation, the two sets on which the relation is being defined should be non-empty. You cannot define a relation if either one of the sets is empty. If A and B are two non-empty sets, then R is said to be the relation from A to B. Now, this is again an important point, as we saw that the Cartesian product was not commutative. That means A cross B was not equal to B cross A. Similarly, we can have two different relations, one from A to B and B to A. So then R is said to be a relation from A to B if R is a subset of A cross B. That means the relation is always a subset of the Cartesian product. What it means is the relation eventually will consist of set of ordered pairs. Just like your Cartesian product is a set of ordered pairs, similarly the relation is also a set of ordered pairs. The ordered pairs A comma B, where the element A belongs to set A and the element B belongs to the set B, right? What is important over here is when we talk about Cartesian product, it is just a mixing of the elements of the two sets A and B. Say for example, if the set A has 5 elements and the set B has 6 elements, then the Cartesian product is going to have 30 elements. Whereas the relation R can have up to 30 elements. Why? Because it is a subset of the Cartesian product. But the two elements of the pair A and B are related to each other in some fashion. So it is denoted by A related to B. It is denoted by A is related to B. So that means R is the set of ordered pairs AB, where A belongs to A, B belongs to B, and A is related to B. Right? Let's take an example. Let's say if A is the set 1, 2, 3, 4 and B is the set 1, 2. And we have defined the relation as A plus B is prime. Obviously, the Cartesian product A cross B will have the elements from A as well as the elements from B. That means in the ordered pair, the first element is going to come from A and the second element is going to come from B. And we have defined a relation that the sum of the two elements of each ordered pair must be prime. Then we can say that the pairs of the relation R are 1, 1 as the sum becomes 2, which is a prime number. 1, 2, that is 3, which is again a prime number. 2, 1, which is 3, which is again a prime number. 3, 2, which is 5, again a prime number. And 4, 1, which is 5, again a prime number. Please remember, the first element comes from the set A and the second element comes from the set B. Right? So, this is an example of a set. Let's see another example. Let A is the set 2, 3, 4, 5 and B is the set 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have defined the relation as A is less than equal to B. So the elements of the pair will be, the elements of the relation will be 2, 2, as 2 is less than equal to 2, it is actually equal to 2, 2 is less than 3, 2 is less than 4, 3 is less than equal to 3, 3 is less than equal to 4, 3 is less than equal to sorry, 4 is less than equal to 4. So these are the two examples of relations. If A has m number of elements and B has n number of elements, remember, if A has m elements and B has n elements, that means the Cartesian product will have m into n elements. Now, if the cardinality of the Cartesian product is m into n, and we say that the relation is a subset of Cartesian product, it means how many relations can we define? We can define as many relations as there can be subsets of the Cartesian product. And if you remember the rule for power set, if the Cartesian product has a cardinality of m into n, that means there can be 2 to the power m into n relations from A to B. Similarly, there can be 2 to the power n multiplied by m relations defined from B to A. Now, we can define a relation on a single set also. Say for example, if I see this one, A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and if I want to define a relation on this single set, what it means is the set A will be this set and the set B will again be the same set. So we can define a relation on a single set also. Say for example, let's take this only example. If A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and relation is again A plus B is prime. Now the pair becomes 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1 and 4, 3. The first element is coming from this set and the second element of the pair is also coming from the set A only. So both the elements are coming from the same set. We have defined a set, a relation on a single set. If A has m elements, that means we can define 2 to the power m into m relations from A to A. Obviously, if A has m elements, then the Cartesian product A cross A will have m into m, that is m square elements. And that means how many relations can be there? The number of relations will be same as the power cardinality of the power set of the Cartesian product, that is 2 to the power m into m or 2 to the power m square. Now, every relation has two basic properties. Every relation can have a domain and a range. The domain of a relation R is the set consisting of all the first elements of the ordered pair A comma B belonging to R. As we have seen that the domain of the relation, every relation is a set of ordered pairs where the first element is coming from the first set and the second element is coming from the second set. Now the set of all the first elements from the relation pairs is called the domain. And the set of all the second elements from the relation pairs is called the range. Say for example, if the relation R is 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9, 4, 16, then domain is 1, 2, 3, 4 and the range is 1, 4, 9 and 16. You can see that the domain is the set of all the first elements and the range is the set of all the second elements. Another example, if let us say the set relation is defined as 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, then the domain is 1, 2, 3, 4 and the range is the set of the second elements A, B, C and D. If R is a relation defined on the set from set A to set B, then domain of R is a subset of A. Obviously, if R is a relation that is defined from set A to set B, that means all the first elements of the pairs are coming from A and all the second elements of the pairs are coming from B. So that means the domain will be a subset of A. It is not necessary that all the elements of set A are going to participate in the relation. And again, it is not necessary that all the elements of the set B are also going to participate in the relation. That's why we say that the domain is a subset of A and the range is a subset of B. Now let us see the various types of relations. Just as we saw in the case of sets that there was null set, singleton set, etc., etc. Similarly, we have some specific types of relations. First of all, let's talk about the universal relation. It is similar in nature to the universal set that we talked about in case of sets. Now, universal relation, what will be a universal relation? It is a relation which contains all the possible pairs. That means it is a Cartesian product. The Cartesian product will contain all the possible pairs that can be there in the relation. So the Cartesian product is called the universal relation. Second, we have the identity relation. This is a very important relation. It is a relation where the only pairs are comprised of the same element as the first element and the second element. I'll repeat. First of all, identity relation can only be defined on a single set. You cannot have an identity relation on two sets. A relation defined on a single set as A comma A, where A belongs to A, is called the identity relation and is denoted by IA. What it means is, if I have a set A, B, C, D, then the identity relation is A comma A, B comma B, C comma C, D comma D. That means all the four elements related to themselves. One important point. Apart from these elements, A comma A, B comma B, C comma C, D comma D, there can be no other pair in the identity relation. Then void relation, as the name suggests, void or null relation, which is again denoted by phi, which has no pairs. So void or null relation is one which has no pairs. Again, it is denoted by phi, just like the null set was denoted by phi. Then we have the inverse relation. If I have defined a relation R from A to B, then the relation R inverse will be defined from B to A. And it is going to have the same pairs but with the first and second elements interchanged. So, sorry, a relation defined from B to A is called an inverse relation of the relation R defined from A to B. That means if R has the sets A comma B, then R inverse will have the sets pairs B comma A. Pairs will be same, just the position of the first and the second element will be reversed. Now, as is clear, domain of R inverse will be same as range of R and range of R inverse will be same as domain of R. And if A is related to B, then B is related to A by R inverse. Right? As an example, if R is 1A, 2B, 3C, then R inverse is equal to 1A, B2, A1, B2, C3. The pairs are the same. See, 1A, 1A, the pairs are the same. Just the position of the first and second element has been interchanged. Next, we have the complement relation. Again, let's map it to the set. What was complement of a set? Complement of a set was the elements which are not present in the set. Similarly, what is a complement relation? It is a set of all the pairs which are not present in the original relation. Now, how do we get it? In case of set, we found out the complement by universal set minus the given set. Similarly, here also we will find out the complement relation by the pairs which are present in the universal relation but not in the given relation. And what is the universal relation? The Cartesian product. If R is a relation defined from A to B, then the complement of R, which is denoted by R dash, is the set of pairs AB, where A and A comma B belongs to R. It is a set of the pairs which are present in the universal relation but not in the given relation. So, I'll repeat. If R is a relation defined from A to B, then the complement of R, which is denoted by R dash, is a set of pairs A comma B, where A and A comma B does not belong to the relation right? So this was a general idea about what are the various relations. Let's take an example. If A is equal to 1, 2, 3. So obviously what will be the Cartesian product? The Cartesian product is going to have 9 elements: 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. And let us define a relation R as 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. Then obviously R inverse will have those pairs which are not present over here. So 1, 1 is not present over here, so 1, 1 will be present in R inverse. 2, 1 is present over here. 2, 2 and 2, 3 are not present over here, so 2, 2 and 2, 3 will be present over here. 3, 1 and 3, 3, as they are not present in R, they will be present in R inverse. Now, as a relation is essentially a set, it is a set of ordered pairs. So all the operations that can be performed on a set can also be performed on relations, right? You remember what were the various set operations? We had union, intersection, difference, symmetric difference, complement, things like that. All the set operations can be performed on relations also. Let's take certain examples. Let us say if A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have defined two relations, R as 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, and S is this. I have defined two relations on this. One relation is R and one is S. Now, union of the two relations is the set of all the pairs which are either present in R or present in S or present in both of them. So, all the pairs which are either present in R or present in S or both of them make up the union. Intersection, set of all the pairs which are present in both R and S. You can see 1, 1 is present in both, 1, 2 is present in both, 4, 1 is present in both. So these are the pairs that will come under intersection. R minus S, once again, all the pairs which are present in R but not in S. So they will come under R minus S. S minus R, all the relation pairs which are present in S but not present in R. Symmetric difference, all the pairs which are either present in R or in S but not in both. If you see, as we discussed in terms of sets also, you can find the symmetric difference as R union S minus R intersection S, or you can find it as R minus S union S minus R. These are the two ways of finding the symmetric difference of the two relations. Now, as an exercise, I am leaving you with these three properties. R union S inverse is equal to R inverse union S inverse. R intersection S inverse is equal to R inverse intersection S inverse. If R is a subset of S, then R inverse is a subset of S inverse. Now I leave it to you. आप इन तीनों को verify करिए. How are you going to verify them? Just take this set and you can use either these two relations that I have defined, or you can define your relations of your own, and using those relations verify the following. Again, another exercise for you people to do. If A is equal to 1, 2, 3 and B is equal to A, B, C, D, and I have defined two relations R and S. Now find out the following: R inverse union S inverse, R inverse intersection S inverse, R complement union S complement, R complement intersection S complement, R inverse symmetric difference S inverse, and the symmetric difference of R complement and S complement. Not only these, you can practice relations. You can have relations like, say for example, you have a numeric set, let us say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can have relations like A plus B is prime. You can have relation like A plus B is even, or A plus B is odd, or A divides B, or A is divided by B, or you may have a relation like A plus B is divisible by 3, A plus B is divisible by 5, A plus B is divisible by 7, and things like that. You can define relations of your own and you can practice them. In the next lecture, we will see relation properties. Once again, if you have any queries, you can post those queries on the discussion forum that we have defined, and I will sort out those queries over there. Thank you.